Retro Zone.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Animanicast.
You think you're so smart, Brain, which is barely lame, by the way, but I'm far more clever, more hardworking. And I only sometimes get into fights on Goodreads. The only part of Ulysses worth reading is the last chapter, and everybody knows it! Anyway, where was I? That's right, here in my body, about to steal your secret code, fly to space, activate the electromagnetic pulse, and take over the world for myself.
That's quite a narrative you've assembled, Julia. Did you attend the Iowa Writers' Workshop?
Actually, I got in, but I didn't go because I wanted real life experience.
Right.
And welcome everybody once again to another episode of the Animanicast. This, of course, is the podcast where we talk about all things Animaniacs. And today we are talking about episode 10 of the second season of the reboot. That's right, we're going to be talking about all the, cultural references and gags that we really want to talk about. And of course, in the end, we're going to give this episode of the Animaniacs Reboot a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again is my brother Nathan.
Looks like somebody's got a queso the Mondays.
And across the country in Georgia, there's Kelly.
Hello.
Oh, well, let's see. We are back once again. The 9th episode almost broke my brain, but I was glad to see that the 10th episode was kind of pulling it up for me a little bit. We have, of course, in this episode, which is the 23rd episode of the reboot, we have an exercise minute, and then we have Pinky and the Brain in Reichenbrain Falls. We have some targeted ads, and then we have the return of Starbox and Cindy with Bathtime. And if someone were to ask you, to summarize this episode in just a few words, what would you tell them, Nathan?
It's got twists and turns galore. I don't know.
And Kelly, what about you?
You always ask this question, and I never have an answer prepared. I'm trying to think of the episode as a whole. It was widely varied. Lots of stuff, different stuff in it.
This is true. There was a lot of stuff in this episode. Before we get into our discussion, let's go ahead and get to the November 5th Facts theme song. Nathan, give us the November 5th Facts theme song.
Let's all sing together. This is the November song. Everybody sing together. November 5th theme song.
Wow, very nice. Now, I got to call out one mistake that I made a couple weeks ago. I was listening to it. Nathan, you had a very awesome November 5th Facts theme song, but for some reason I said before you started singing it that the episode premiered on Saturday, November 5th.
Oh, and then I started singing
and then you said
Saturday.
Sing Saturday, November 5th. And then I was realizing as editing
I was like, Friday, right?
It was Friday. Why did I say Saturday? It was an awesome theme song, and I don't think.
Well, you made me sing.
Well,
it got me into that mood. So
exactly. So it was a great theme song. And this one was just even better, Nathan. Well, Nathan, tell us what happened on November 5th. What do we got?
I was looking up space things because there's some space things in this episode. So in 1964, NASA launched the Mariner 3. And in 1967, NASA launched the ATS-3. I don't know what those are. Probably some rockets. Well, in 2007, China first lunar satellite, the Chang'e 1. I don't know how to say it. It goes into orbit around the moon on November 5th. And then there's some ads in this. And I was like, what about ads? Well, November 5th is actually Commercial TV Broadcast Day, which I don't know if that means commercial or just commercial TV, but it's been observed annually since at least 2020. I don't know when they first started doing it. But you know how you can make up a holiday? They did that for November 5th.
All right. Yeah, if anything, Nathan, you can always go to I think it's the National Day or something, or nationaltoday.com, and you can find out very weird kinds of days.
This is one of those holiday. It's a holiday for commercial TV broadcasts.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I didn't see when they first started it, but it was at least 2020. So it's been years.
We're recording this a few days before National Cinnamon Bun Day, which is, I know this because one of my students looked up on that website and told me. So, if you're really curious when we recorded this, look that up. Find out. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for those facts. I think let's go ahead and get into our discussion. Before we do, I guess I was going to get to the variable verse, but this is a first. We're going to talk about a segment before the variable verse.
Oh my God.
It's insanity. It's zany to the max, perhaps you might say. Let's go ahead and talk about the exercise minute.
Not so fast. As part of Warner Brothers' renewed commitment to the health of our viewers, you must perform physical activity before continuing to the next episode.
So, right at the beginning of the Animaniacs theme song this time, they interrupt it and they say it's time to get up and move. I guess Hulu or Warner Brothers or Amblin, all three of them, decides it's a good time for us to get up and move. And this is, I relate to this because every now and then my smartwatch decides to tell me I need to start moving, which I'm like, a few nights ago it told me at 11:30 at night that I need to get up and start moving. Like, dude, no. Anyway, in this case, the Warners are getting some exercise in, and they are exercising with a mayfly.
Exercise is an important part of a healthy lifestyle. Everyone can make time for just 15 minutes of exercise.
Actually, I don't think I have that kind of time.
Nonsense. Let's kick things off with some simple jumping jacks.
Well, she has a very short amount of time to do this. So they put in a few exercises in, and they're telling her to do these squats and these lunges. And as they're talking, the mayfly, whose name is May, is getting older and older and uglier and falling apart. It starts getting, gross because it's the reboot, and that's what they left to do. And I forget, do we see May die or not?
Basically, you see her funeral. So
that's right. At the very end, we see them at her funeral.
She's touched a lot of people. There was a lot of people that didn't.
Yeah.
There's so many people at her funerals.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she had so many friends.
She touched a lot of lives.
Congratulations! You've reached your quota for physical activity. You may now resume enjoying Animaniacs.
That concludes their get up and move part, and it goes right back to the theme song. And then we get to the variable verse, which was cell membrane.
Cell membrane.
So something slightly educational. It was educational. They were pointing at something like a diagram of a cell.
Yeah.
So this is the first time, and perhaps the last time, we're going to ask you guys. Well, we might talk about the variable verse sometimes, but what did you think about this first kind of interruption of the theme song with this segment about exercising? Kelly, what did you think?
Well, I had to stop fast forwarding through the theme song. I mean, usually I'll watch it, but I was running short on time today. And so I was like, well, I'm going to speed through the theme song and get to the episode. And I'm like, no, there's a thing here in the middle. So it was surprising.
Yeah. Nathan, what about you?
I was confused. I thought my internet had frozen or something at first, and because I wasn't watching the screen. I'm just like, I'll put it on, and then I can look away from the screen while it starts and then I'm like, what stopped? It
pranked you then.
Yeah, it pranked me. And then I was like, do I need to press a button? So I'm like looking for the controller. And then I was like, well, I better get up. And I started exercising.
Wow.
So I thought it was great because I was like, hey, yeah, I got some actual exercise. It was kind of weird that it immediately goes into the next theme song. So I'm like, so we have like 2.5 minutes of theme songs almost if you don't count the Mayfly segment.
It wasn't a smooth transition.
Yeah. It felt weird to go from the theme song to a Pinky the Brain theme song, but that's fine. I mean, we could talk about it later. I don't know when to talk about it because then we talk about Pinky the Brain. I thought it was a little educational. I found out that female mayflies only live for 5 minutes.
Wow.
Is it 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes to 2 days?
Well, it's female mayflies usually live less than 5 minutes, while males can live a whopping 2 days. So, that's after the larva stage. So, assuming May was a female, about 5 minutes, which
that's insane.
Yeah,
what's the point? I mean, what do they do while they're alive?
Gotta lay eggs.
They
real
probably
quick.
mate and lay eggs. Yeah,
mate and lay. But it's like it's so funny because can you really like fertilize an egg and lay an egg within just that amount of time? There's so many of them. I would assume that you know what I mean? Like it's got to be like, just the numbers alone. Yeah. That's how the species, I don't know. I'm just glad there's no mayflies in Arizona. So, because I looked at one of them, it's like, what does a mayfly even look like? And it looks almost like a silverfish with wings. Has weird stuff on the back of it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And as gross as May got towards the end with her wings falling apart and everything like that, I think the real mayflies are grosser. So anyway, well, that was that. I guess, and it goes right into, like Nathan said, the Pinky and the Brain theme song right after this theme song ends, which is super weird, but 2 theme songs. And let's go ahead and talk about Reichenbrain. I can't even say this correctly. Reichenbrain Falls.
You keep wanting to say Reichenbach.
Yes, I do want to keep saying Reichenbach, but we'll talk about why the Reichenbach Falls are significant for this cartoon in just a little bit. But this Reichenbrain Falls was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk, and it was directed by Katie Rice. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in Reichenbrain Falls?
Okay. So, Brain wakes up. He's been unconscious. He's got a big bump on his head, so it looks like he may have hit his head or something. And he's kind of starts piecing things together and realizes it looks like he's on a spaceship with Pinky. And Pinky's talking to him about the code. There's like a 5-digit code that he needs to... I don't remember what the code does. Because the ship's... It sends the ship into space, I guess.
I think
right?
it doesn't it like...
Okay, here. It makes an electromagnetic...
Oh, that's right.
Magenta purse. That's what it is.
Purse, okay.
It shuts down all the everything electric inside the entire world, right?
Magenta purse, I think is what Pinky says. So,
You also said the code would make an electro-magenta purse, which I thought was a bit strange because magenta is so last summer.
Then Brain starts to remember what happened before he ended up in the spaceship, and he and Pinky were substitute teachers at a middle school, and Brain is wearing this cute little toupee and this little outfit. And he's running this, I guess, after-school program where he's gathered all these STEM students, and they're making a scale model of a rocket ship.
These little fools have no idea I've just been using them for free labor. Soon I will steal this rocket and journey into space.
Have you noticed how often Mr. Brain mutters under his breath? And also how tiny he is.
At least he's better than the new tiny art teacher.
And Pinky is teaching art and eating glue. And Pinky's dressed like he's got a wig and dress on and everything.
Oh, no, don't waste paste, Mason. Especially when it's this delicious.
The students are looking at him really funny when he eats the glue. And there's one student that kind of hangs back a little bit and not sure what's going on with that. And then...
which, by the way, I gotta say, I really did like Pinky's art teacher outfit. That was very cute. Like purple hair. Very...
Mm-hmm.
Then they scurry off and they go kind of like behind like the soccer field or something.
Yeah, behind the bleachers. Watch out.
Yeah, and
bad stuff goes on back there.
Brain takes stuff out of a locker and he's got these little tiny spacesuits and says that they need to get ready and launch the ship. Because there's a window of time that he needs to launch the ship. At some point he hits his head, so you kind of see where he knocks his head, and then they're back in the ship, and Pinky is just really becoming adamant about the code.
How about you just shout out the code and I'll type it in here? Is it 31415 27182 24601? Boy, isn't it wacky how you can have 100,000 possible combinations with a 5-digit code? It's enough to drive someone, certainly not me, but someone up the space wall! Zort!
I thought Pinky sounded funny the whole time. The voice, the accent sounded a little off to me. And then Pinky says, Gort instead of Zort. And I'm like, And he starts becoming more and more frenzied. And at one point he calls Brain Babe. And that kind of raised an eyebrow. Because I'm like, well, are they doing the shipping?
Yeah.
You know, like, is that what that's about? Or what? I didn't know. It just seemed very out of character. So I'm already starting to piece together things because Pinky's just not himself. Mm-hmm. And he's really wanting this code. And then he's like losing his mind. He's just becoming frantic, crazy-eyed. And then it's revealed that it's actually Julia. And if you'll remember, Julia was from the first season. And Brain had kind of made her his wife when he was trying to run for president.
Probably our least favorite Pinky the Brain segment from the first season. I think.
Totally brainwashed her and stuff.
What have you done with Pinky?
Oh, sweet Pinky. Let's just say he's rather occupied. No, wait. I've got a better one. Let's just say he's in a sticky situation.
Oh! Hi, Brain. Julia's back.
Yes, Pinky, I know.
And she's completely unhinged. Like, she just really wants this code and wants revenge on Brain and has this vat of queso dip. Cheese dip. And he's being suspended in midair by the student that was kind of remaining back in the Pinky's classroom, and you realize it's not a student at all. It's like a robot being controlled. Brain does fall into the vat, but Pinky gets him out.
Celebrating a little early, aren't we?
How did you escape? With my help. You see, when you glued me to the wall, you forgot one crucial detail. I love eating paste.
Then there's a fight. Brain and Julia fight, and then they like knock over the whole thing, and they're all like, swimming in cheese dip. And Julia manages to get into the ship, and it launches, but then there's like black smoke.
I think it was was it like powder? I got the feeling it was gunpowder or something like that from the ship
something was leaking from it.
Something like that.
Looked kind of like smoke a little bit, and then it kind of blows up in midair.
I'll be back. Hasta la vista, baby.
Pinky had seemed kind of excited that he's like, Julia's back. And then he hopes that she's okay. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, the brain tells Pinky that don't worry, she'll be back, I'm sure, or something like that. And what did Julia end up landing on? Do you remember?
So
anything?
she was on a parachute, and then a bird grabs the parachute, and then
like
she
an
starts.
Owl.
Yeah,
Like an owl.
it was like a sparrow or something. So she starts. Then she, you're like thinking like, oh, maybe she'll get eaten by a bird, but no. Then she starts riding the bird and like punching the bird and like directing where it's going. And she's saying how she likes to steal matches from restaurants, even though they're technically free.
Sure, they're free anyway, but I like the thrill of the hunt!
Not a stable individual.
No, she's not. And it's really kind of sad because as funny as, as much as, I like the character of Julie. I think we all like the character. It's just kind of sad that, and I'll have to actually listen to, I'm sure when I'm editing all this, I'll probably listen for it again. But remember how the Bernstein said that Julia's theme was kind of like the inverted version of the brain.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'll have to listen and see if I can find any of those same notes for her when it's finally revealed that it is Julia. But before her reveal, I was going, boy, this is some really great animation on Pinky. For whatever reason, like I noticed Pinky was putting in the digits of pi at first, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird how Pinky's doing that. I just thought maybe he's just, just lucky and just doing digits of pi. But I thought he actually had space madness or something. Like I kept thinking.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. Because I thought, most of the, like from the beginning of the episode, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like, oh, he doesn't remember the code. And that's how the episode's going to end is he doesn't remember the code or something,
Right.
I think that's kind of how they want you to think.
Yeah. But a very nice how it slowly reveals that you're not even in he's because of the hit on his head. He thinks that this cardboard ship where he's balancing by a fishing line.
It's very obvious after.
Yeah, it's very obvious afterwards when his bump goes down that he's like, oh, wait, this is so obvious. But at the time, it's just kind of like in his concussed state, I guess you could say, that he thought it was, he was up in space. Because I kept thinking to myself too, it's like, how could he be in this big ship when this rocket that he's building with these, in this after school STEM class it's just a little rocket. Like, how is this possible? Did he must be, on some, other rocket or, he must have gotten on a different rocket or he's on the space station. I think maybe something like that. It was very confusing, but, when it all did come through, I thought it was pretty clever how they did, reveal Julia. But when it comes to, references, there's a few of them. He says, Great Godfrey Hounsfield at one point.
Great Godfrey Hounsfield, what's going on?
And I had to look him up, and that guy won the Nobel Prize, and he helped develop a CAT scan. It didn't really have anything much to do with anything at the moment, but I guess the brain might need a CAT scan after this just to make sure his brain's okay. The brain of the brain is fine. Pinky / Julia did say ground control to Major Brain at one point. So that's a little David Bowie reference, or William Shatner reference, depending on who you want to look at. William Shatner did that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did it. Yeah,
he did
probably.
He made every song horrible. Elon Musk is kind of referred to, as we all know.
Well, you mentioned William Shatner and so singing, so now I have to go, bah, bah, black sheep, ooh, have you any wool?
$3 full. Yes, I love I love all the William. I actually bought that William Shatner CD many years ago.
Is it really like that?
Man.
Like from
a lot of it is unfortunately unlistenable. But him singing Mr. Tambourine Man. Look that up on YouTube, folks. He screams it. It's pretty insane. Yeah. Anyway, When it comes to other references, though, I didn't really see much other than I just wrote down there's a lot of cool animation on Pinky / Julia before the reveal. It looked really, really cool. I could tell the animators and I could tell the writers themselves just have so much more fun with Pinky the Brain than with the Warners. You know, where the Warners can sometimes look very like there's not as much movement. They look a little bit more stiff sometimes, or just slower moving. Pinky the Brain are usually just moving around just a bit more. I kind of get the feeling sometimes that they should have just done a Pinky and the Brain show instead. And I think the whole reboot would have been a little bit more well received. But what did you guys think about this first Pinky and the Brain one? Nathan, what do you think?
I liked it. No, I thought it was cool. The little nods, the little like hints that they give you to that it like, oh, Pinky's not acting like himself. You know, these like little. Like the other number that he put was Euler's number, was 2.781. That's also like pi. It's an irrational number that goes on forever.
Wow.
Then he puts 24601, which is from Les Mis.
I should have got that one. I don't know. I didn't sleep last night, so that's how.
So wait, what's from Les Mis with that number?
It's his identity number from being a convict.
We talked about this during Les Mis or Animals.
Yeah.
Runt.
And the title, did you talk about Reichenbrain Falls?
I have not. So yes, Reichenbrain Falls is reference to Reichenbach Falls in Switzerland, and I was looking that up. Like, okay, so what? But when you Google Reichenbach Falls, you'll see.
I know what it is.
What is it, Kelly?
It's it was like where Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty met. You know, their
last face-off, right?
Yeah.
Final face-off in the books.
It's where Conan Doyle basically killed off Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
But then I think he brought him back later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like they both fall to their deaths in the original story. Although, like, then they come back. You know, exactly. I think the season 3 finale, there's a whole like death scene in that one was also called Reichenbach Falls of the new series.
In the show Sherlock with Benedict.
Sherlock,
with Benedict. Yeah,
I always loved how they never quite explained how Sherlock survived these things. They just have come out a lot of theories, and they just go, interesting. That could have happened, I guess.
It's like here are all the theories, and somewhere one of these are all the fan theories, and other ones these are like what?
Yeah,
but none of them are like. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really just it's not important. He's alive. And he's smarter than you, and that's the point. I thought that was a cool tie-in, since Julia has become his nemesis.
Moriarty.
In the show.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a cool like little thing. So yeah, it was just fun. Like I would not get that either. Reichenbrain Falls I wouldn't immediately think of, that's obviously a Moriarty, so I should look for but it's fun going back and seeing that.
That was probably the coolest reference. When it comes to stuff.
Malcolm in the Middle. Did you see that reference?
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Duh. I mean, that was like right there. There were some of them that
giants.
I literally didn't even write it down on my sheet as I was watching it, because I was just like, But I should realize that show is about 20 years old at this point.
Yep. There's the people that.
So it's
there
not
are listeners that were not alive for that show.
Malcolm in the Middle School. Yeah. That didn't really quite make. Did it just say Malcolm Middle School?
I think it said Malcolm in the Middle School.
Yeah. Why would it say Malcolm in the Middle School?
Maybe the person's full name was Malcolm in the.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Why not?
I don't think it's supposed to. It's just supposed to be a reference.
I mean, they could have just called it Malcolm Middle School or ND, like the initials ND Middle School. I think that would have been
Malcolm ND Middle School.
Yeah. That would have been funny.
Yeah. See, I mean, just one more passage.
Rather than hitting us over the head with it.
Yeah, exactly. Just have it just a little easier on that stuff reference, because Yeah, I didn't even write that down. I was just like, huh, okay. I mean, a lot of the comedy on this, I really don't like the look of these weird-looking kids. There's a lot of weird... I put down, cue the weird-looking kid comedy.
Well, the Julia's kid that was, robot.
Well, that is definitely... That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That he was so weird-looking because he's a robot.
I liked that the eating paste came, they set it up and then it turns into, it was good storytelling. I think there would have you set up a concept and then it pays forward. And there you go.
And the brain either cut him off before he was going to say he found something under his left leg or something else.
First, I started nibbling it off my left foot, but then I found a nice, tasty morsel under my left.
Yes, we get it, Pinky.
Which he was cut
doesn't
off.
matter.
It doesn't really. But Kelly, any other thoughts on this? Because I have just a few last concluding thoughts. I really would. All this kind of goes back to how Julia was created in the first place, with Brain mistreating Julia, who was a very likable character. Nothing was wrong with Julia, and he was just doing this because he was basically jealous of her and ended up electroshocking her till she got fried, right? And now she wants to take over the world, which to me makes no sense. Why does she want to take over the world? Shouldn't she just want to? I guess that's the way she's going to get revenge, is by taking over the world before Brain.
I think so.
I mean, I could understand just putting Brain into cheese and trying to kill him, but why does she have to also take over the world too?
Well, she's been shocked in the brain and everything.
So now she's gone insane.
Yeah. It's like how the pilot should have been in Rogue One. Like they're like, oh, your mind will be messed up forever, and then like the next scene he's fine. So it's like, but like this one, at least there's some consistency, and she's like, she'll be a little bit messed up in the brain forever. But
I will say that I hope in season 3, the way that I would like this to end is, I hope in season 3 the brain works on just trying to fix her. Not only because of realizing the mistake that he made, which I think would help his character out, but also he doesn't want her to take over the world. So it's like, it works in two ways. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want her to take over the world, so I'll fix her. And
she was always supposed to be somewhat power hungry because she's like the wives of presidents or something. But yeah, I think just let her be president, and you take over the world, and just that'd be a nice ending or something. Even if Pinky and the Brain get married and she becomes president, that's how the series ends. And there you go. Everyone's happy.
Many people happy in certain parts of the Animaniacs community. Yes. No, I just think it would be nice if like Spider-Man in the latest Spider-Man film, like how he tried to fix the bad guys, like the brain could use his intellect to try to fix Julia's brain, to try to repair the damage that he's done. That would be nice to see.
Sounds hilarious.
I don't think it's going to happen. It could be funny. Listen, just because the concept,
these episodes aren't funny enough. What they should do is
no. But sometimes it's not about being funny. Sometimes it's about, for me at least, the character. Like, you need to stay true to the character. And he did a lot of it. For me, that scene, I haven't revisited it in a very long time because I don't like it. But it just really did a lot of damage to Brain's character, for me at least. He just was too evil in that one. At any rate, let's go ahead and talk about the last two sets. We have basically like a commercial and the return of Starbox and Cindy. So let's go ahead and talk about these ads. They're called targeted ads.
Oh, hello. It used to be you never knew exactly who was watching your commercial, but modern data mining has changed all that. The commercials you are about to see have been selected for you based on your viewing habits, social media likes, and blood type. And because these ads are targeted at you and only you, I think you'll find it impossible not to purchase the following products.
Targeted Ads was written by Wellesley Wild and Ted Mulcairn, and it was directed by Brett Varon. And Nathan, what happens in targeted ads?
Well, Yakko is here. He's telling us all about how, thanks to data mining, or how we're constantly being, spied on by everyone. I don't know. That now ads can be targeted directly to us based on search terms that we do. So if you search for like, do I have friends or in bold, then they give you like, hey, you probably want to go to DMV Fantasy Camp.
Deal with unruly customers.
You're in the wrong line, sir. This is for processing. You want applications.
I just came from applications.
Or if you like Aquaman, then maybe you also like Tuna Fresh gum.
2 times the fishing is 2 times the fun. 2 times the tuna and Tuna Fresh gum.
Or maybe you, I can't remember why, but Tarantula Whistle for called tarantulas. I can't remember what the thing was for that.
How many legs do your friends have? Thanks to Tarantula Whistle!
Tarantula Whistle is a registered trademark of Arachnophobia Industries, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Dietworm Inc., an international Illuminati concern dedicated to openly declaring that we are gathering world power.
Yeah, so we got 3 ads, and none of them are quite relative to what you're searching for, but at the end, Wacko comes in with his Tarantula Whistle and says, thanks, targeted ads, and good. Yeah, you can ride tarantulas if you have that whistle. So.
Yeah, exactly. That was... Tarantula Whistle was perhaps the funniest one of these ones for me, just because even though I don't like the grossness and stuff, the idea of spiders just going right into your mouth like it did with that girl was kind of gross funny to me. They had the double, or the, what is this, the
tuna fresh gum,
which
it's like
is
double mint gum.
Double mint, and kind of like Big Red. Do you remember Big Red commercials, Nathan?
Yeah. Kiss a little longer, make it last a little longer.
I love Big Red.
Yeah. Yeah, they had people cinnamony gum.
What was the movie where he sings Big Red in it?
Oh gosh, that was a
Get
movie
Over It or something, or not. It was it Get Over It? Is that what the movie was called? It was
with Big Red. It was Get Over It with Kristen Dunst and Martin Short, and yeah, he does this fist pump kind of move when he says the Big Red thing. That movie is funny, mainly because of Martin Short.
Not very funny, but it is funny.
I remember buying it on DVD.
We had it on DVD. Saw it a lot because we had it on DVD. But it's not a great movie.
No.
And it's not hilarious. But it's fine.
It's Martin Short. Martin Short gets a pass anytime with me because it's Martin Short, and I love that man. There was a lot. Let me see if I can pull up the fine print right here for Tarantula Gum. Not Tarantula Gum. That would be worse. Tarantula Gum. Tarantula Whistle. Because it had a lot of fine print, and I thought it was pretty amusing. So let's see here. I had here we go. Tarantula Whistle. So let's see if I can read this. Tarantula Whistle is a registered trademark of Arachnophilia Enterprises.
Yeah, philia, because that means spider love.
Ooh.
Phobia would be scared of. Philia is love.
Ooh,
so
which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Dietworms Incorporated, an international Illuminati concern dedicated to openly declaring that we are gathering world power. Arachnophilia Enterprises is not responsible for death by choking, biting, poison, being wrapped into webs, and being slowly eaten alive as you watch your loved ones also get devoured. Do not use Tarantula Whistle to destroy your enemies. Tarantulas are not a legal vehicle on public roads. Arachnophilia Enterprises cannot be held responsible, such as such. And it's kind of in the shadows. I can't read it. Do not ride the spiders. And this is professional drivers on course. So there's apparently, I missed the part where they're driving spiders around. But
she's at the very end right there. You see her riding spider. And then Wacko rides the spiders at the end. Of
I just totally.
Are you just not watching? Did you not see Mr. Director in the episode?
I did see Mr. Director at the end of the DMV thing, which I was like, oh, that's cool. That was the only good thing I liked about the DMV thing. I thought that was it was like space camp. I get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to space camp when I was a kid.
And people don't like the DMV. I get it. Yeah. You're in the wrong line. Long lines. DMV.
Yeah. I'm so done with DMV jokes, though. I'm like those are.
That's ever since Zootopia, it's all downhill.
I mean, yeah.
That was funny.
Zootopia was the last time. It might have been the first and last time DMV jokes were funny. I remember them being somewhat humorous in The Simpsons, and then Zootopia, and it was like, okay, and now we're done with DMV jokes forever, right? Nope, they wanted to try it in Animaniacs, and they, to me, didn't succeed.
I had to renew my driver's license a few months ago, and it was just like, oh, I just go online and do it. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
The only thing was I had to use the same picture from before, which I don't love, but it's like, it's worth the hassle.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's worth avoiding the hassle, I should say.
Yes. Well, so I don't know. One out of 3 segments were good for me. I didn't like tuna fresh gum. I don't like the idea of fishy breath. What did you guys think about these segments?
I didn't like the tuna fresh gum either, and the way they licked each other's tongues and
getting carried away by their tongues.
I didn't want to think about
that was a little weird. It's. I know it's supposed to be funny because they're doing that, but
it's just kind of gross. And the spiders was weird and freaky, but I don't hate spiders the way some people do, so it was all right.
There are tarantulas. There was a tarantula in my backyard in the summer.
I don't like tarantulas specifically. If they have fur, I don't like them.
My puppy Wesley was barking at this thing, and he was like pawing at this thing on the ground at night. I was out in the backyard, just kind of, I don't know, cleaning up dog poop or something, and I just look at him. And he's at the side of the house, kind of going like, kind of nosing something, like kind of backing up, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I see a tarantula right there, and so I was very nice, and I took a shovel and carefully scooped the tarantula up and gently dropped him over to the other side of the fence, so he could probably climb up.
Would y'all living in Arizona?
Yeah.
Do y'all get a lot of snakes and stuff around there?
Yeah, I don't in my yard, but I was at the dog park and people are always talking about their dogs getting bitten by snakes and
snakes, scorpions. They're around.
Watch out for snakes. You gotta watch out. Better watch out. You better not cry.
You better watch out.
Santa
you better watch
snakes.
out. You better watch out. You better watch out.
Is that from Simpsons or something?
I don't know
what that is.
That's the snake song that we always
The
sing
snake
in the
song.
summertime.
We all sing that as we're going on hikes. Better watch out.
Yeah, that's right. Nathan's going on a lot of hikes now, and whenever he goes on hikes in the desert, he's always singing "Better watch out."
Yeah,
his girlfriend is about to break up with him.
Oh no!
Because he's just too much singing.
It's. Yet we've never been bit by a snake. So I think
scaring them away.
Exactly.
Well, I guess let's go ahead and talk about the last little part right here, which is the return of Starbox and Cindy. And they are in a segment called, I'm waiting for it to look up the thing.
Bathtime.
It's called Bathtime. And Bathtime was written and directed by Katie Rice.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, she did the other ones, and
she was not credited anywhere, so I don't actually.
Come on, Katie. We're going to give credit to Katie Rice on this one.
Yeah,
whether she likes it or not. Nathan, what happens here in this second Starbox and Cindy cartoon?
All right. Well, there's a whole bunch of aliens that are going to invade Earth, and all that's good. All they're waiting for is for their commander, Mr. Starbox, to hit a little button, and then they'll attack Earth. So let's see what he's up to. He's with Cindy. He's really small compared to Cindy. He fits like in the palm of her hand. He's like doll size. She's talking about I think a snake in her backyard.
Hey, better watch out.
Better watch out. And then she goes and talks about how dirty things are. She's kind of talking about Starbox, I think. So Starbox is going to get a bath because he's all dirty. So it's bath time. She puts him in, and then she's putting things in the toilet. She's flushing things down the hole. I was hoping she would say water go down the hole.
I was waiting for it so much too.
Like she should say, but she sings a little song about toilets, which is kind of cute. She talks about when she becomes a parent, she'll let her child have a a mouse, I think is what she says. And then she's like, I'll let her have a mouse or him. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm surprised you're able to hear. I got to say, something was wrong with my audio or something's really great
terrible.
with your ears. Because you were, you know why? Because you were watching it on closed captioning, I bet.
Nope. I should have. I wonder if it's in closed caption. I didn't watch it with closed caption.
Because
I was just listening.
Because I was trying to pay attention to what she was saying. Because quite frankly, I thought it was funnier than what was going on with Starbucks.
Holding a snake, and I found something in it. The snake bit my hand. If I have a kid, I'm going to let her get a mouse. Or him. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
What helped me the second time, I just listened. I didn't watch it at all.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. And then I could just hear what she was saying.
Yeah, that was funny
but
stuff.
It's still,
that girl's funny.
Yeah, she's funny. And it's hard to... Yeah. The sound levels were not good. They put way too much sound on like the... splashes and
they're trying to tell you like what's going on with Starbucks. This is really funny, and it's like not really.
It's like I want to hear what Cindy's saying. Like that's like the whole point of you hiring Cindy to play that. Like let me hear her. I don't care about Starbucks at all.
If they just animated a little girl talking, I would have just been happy with that. Been like,
that's
this
cute.
is a great segment.
Yeah, we don't even need Starbucks at all.
Give it a Starbucks.
So but there is some one part where Starbox looks like he's about to hit the button and he jumps. He does all this athletic gymnastic things. He lands right in front of the button, and then he's facing with his back to the button, and his towel falls down because that's all he was wearing was a towel. And right then, his commander is calling. This is like the Emperor Palpatine of whatever his he calls and says, "Starbox, why haven't you? Oh no, sorry, you must be busy," because he sees that Starbox is butt naked, buck naked. So he hangs up, and that's when Cindy, I guess he falls into the toilet at this point, I think. And Cindy is like, finds a hair glob and throws it into the toilet as well and flushes it down. And then she notices that Starbox is getting flushed down. So she grabs Starbox out of the toilet, and he's all dirty now. And the good news is it's not poop. It's just hair. We were very worried. I remember watching the preview and we're like, oh, there's poop on his head. But it's not. It's hairball. Hair as far as we know. Yep. And so he has to go back to a bath. It's bath time again. And that's how the segment ends. That's how we end. Boy, it's like you mentioned, I would have really loved to hear water go down the whole thing. Like even there was like a kind of like there was a rubber ducky and everything like that stuck in the toilet, and it was very reminiscent, I think, of Baby Plucky, but just not as funny. Yeah, they should have done. Julian Bernstein should have done some. They should have done like a theme from. Does Plucky have a theme or anything? I don't know if that has a theme for that episode. I know. I'm like, I don't think so. I want something, some sort of nod to it. Like we all know. I know. I would have hoped that the writers would have done something, but as far as we know, the writers really didn't really watch the original series that much. And I don't think Cindy. I feel like a lot of what Cindy's saying is so improvised. That's why I love it so much. There are fed lines, obviously, of like, oh no, you're like. Oh, now say this, say that. But there used to be a great YouTube channel, which I think hasn't really posted anything in a year or two now. But it would take. Oh, I thought you were going to say Animanicast. No, we're still posting. But they would take kids' dialogue of just kids talking to each other, and then adults would just lip sync it. Kid snippets, I think, is what the show is called. Josh Groban. That's the person who they did. There's an episode where Josh Groban is lip syncing it, and the whole setup was the kids were talking about Josh Groban ordering a pizza.
When Josh Groban orders pizza, Josh Groban gets it here in 5 minutes. I can't. It takes an hour. Do you know what a Grammy is? Yes, I know what a Grammy is. Have you ever been nominated for a Grammy? No. I have 2 times, which but I get my pizza in 5 minutes. It takes an hour. Okay, see you in 5 minutes. Another rush order for Josh Groban.
Get the kids. I want Cindy that level up.
Yeah,
that's
let's
the
just
funny
make
stuff.
Let's just make it Cindy and Cindy.
The whole concept of just having a girl improv stuff and people animating something that a 6-year-old is saying.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's
classic comedy.
Classic comedy. Well, what did you think about the segment here, Kelly? What did we think about the Starbucks and Cindy?
I enjoyed her dialogue. It is very cute, very stream of consciousness, and it's very similar in theme to the one from last season.
Mm-hmm.
He gets thwarted, and I thought it was fine. Nothing major,
it's kind of the same
formula, I'm
formula,
I just like hearing her talk.
Yeah, exactly.
And I still like the theme song to Starbucks and Cindy.
Yeah,
I feel like we
fun.
saw more. This theme song felt a little bit longer or
It
something
did.
like that we saw more of like them conquering planets, which they've either been very lucky to go to planets where everyone's smaller than them, or they just overwhelm the planet with so many little aliens that the people cannot. But also, these aliens got to think like, boy, our commander must be down. We better just attack. Oh well.
No, they're waiting. They got to wait.
They're waiting. They got to wait. Well, that's it for the episode. So I guess we got to get to our water tower rating. Out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode of the Animaniacs Reboot? Nathan, why don't we start with you?
I'm just wondering how high to go. I'm gonna go with 4.5. 4.5 water towers. I mean, I liked the Pinky and the Brain, and I think Starbucks and Cindy's just a strong thing. And comparing this to the first episode of the reboot of Animaniacs, I'd say it's a 4.5. It's a very strong episode.
On the scale of we have to say that Nathan's going off the scale of kind of like for as good as the reboot can go.
Yeah, I think this is about as good. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what else I would really want. I got some exercise out of the episode. I got some like cool twists. I got it kind of redeemed Julia. Like I can just almost forget about that episode, and now I could just go off this episode and go from here on and just like, oh yeah, Julia, this was a fun episode for her. The targeted ads was a little weak, but that was probably the weakest part, but it was still, fine. It was good. 4.5.
And Kelly, what about you?
I think I'll go with 3.5. It wasn't bad at all. Just I didn't find it terribly funny. I don't think I laughed out loud once, really.
No.
But I enjoyed the plot of Pinky and the Brain, and I always like Pinky and the Brain pretty much. Starbucks and Cindy, like you said, was cute. The Mayfly thing and the targeted ads were meh. You could have taken them out of the episode, and I wouldn't miss them at all. So, but nothing terrible. It's like, oh, this is awful. Nothing like that. But there was no really songs or it just wasn't. It wasn't super fun episode.
Yeah.
But I thought Pinky the Brain was well done for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised Nathan gave it a 4.5 because there's no songs.
Tuna Fresh Gum is a song.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, okay. I couldn't even remember that was a song. So there you go.
Well, I'm gonna give it 3. Like Kelly said, you guys, it was number 1, so much better than last week. Like head and shoulders above my disappointment with Christopher Columbus and everything like that. I was just so depressed about that for some reason. And so this was nice to just be able to go, oh, this is better. And like you said, though, they could have taken out the whole ads thing and the exercise thing, and it probably would have been better, but then it wouldn't have even had the Warners to begin with. Mm-hmm. So it kind of shows you that, again, I just think that they just don't know how to write for the Warners, unfortunately, which is sad to me. And I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh out loud. I watched it and I appreciated the plot points that they're doing and stuff like that. I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's a good thing that they're doing right there. But yeah, I just didn't laugh. And, you know, when they get to the targeted ads thing where it's kind of like doing little skits, I didn't really think they were necessarily funny, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't that great. Well, I think let's go ahead and get to some contact information. Kelly, where can people find you online?
I'm on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS, or email me, Kelly@BigShinyRobot.com.
All right, Nathan, what about you?
Oh, I'm also on Twitter, Joey, Django FT, that's me.
All right, and well, as for the Animanicast, we're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and Nathan keeps reminding me we're also on TikTok, which I gotta go, oh yeah, that too. So we're on TikTok.
We're live right now. We might be live right now on TikTok.
And of course, you can always head on over to the RetroZap Discord page to talk with us over there. That's right, we're a proud member of the RetroZap Podcast Network. You can go to retrozap.com for awesome articles every day and amazing podcasts. And you can go to the RetroZap Discord server by going to discord.animanicast.com. That'll give you the link to talk about us, about Animaniacs stuff, or really anything pop culture with some really nice, positive people over in Discord. So we'd love to see you there. And also, if you're a fan of this show and you'd love to support us and get some amazing bonus audio as well, head on over to patreon.com/Animanicast. You'll get awesome things like signed Animaniacs trading cards from Tom Ruegger, the creator of Animaniacs. But you'll also get creators' commentary series and us talking about stuff, mostly Star Wars stuff lately. So if you want to hear us talk about Star Wars, you got to become a patron or Patreon. But patreon.com/Animanicast is the place to go for that. So with that all said, for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
For Joey and Kelly, this is Nathan saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Wakey, wakey, I made a mistake.